Hey everybody, welcome again to my channel, and we today are working on a fuel tank on this 1980 Dodge RV. So first thing I do is I pull the fuel lines to make sure that we have no pressure. I pull the gas cap and check that that has no pressure. Pulled the gas cap so we have no pressure when we pull the fuel tank. Pulled the fuel line from the external fuel pump on this. So now we know that we have nothing. There's nothing coming out of there, so it's pulling absolutely nothing. So that line runs all the way up, all the way back to the fuel tank. From the front of the vehicle to the rear, it is a steel line on this particular vehicle, and then it turns into rubber hoses that actually go into the tank. So we will be pulling that tank down just far enough to see if it's either a hose that has collapsed or if we have a line that we need to replace to the fuel pump. So here is everything that I do to get that figured out and sorted. I'm going to pull that connector right there, that guy right there, to make it easier to pull that line out. With a good bit of effort, I was able to break it loose. We're going to not reuse that clamp, so I'll probably end up cutting that back just a little bit right behind the clamp and using a new clamp once I'm finished. Hey everybody, so I spent a few hours going from the front of the vehicle at the carburetor all the way to the back fuel lines, cleaning them out and getting all the crud out of them so that once we drop this tank, we can go ahead and have it start up. What I like to do is I like to support the vehicle on jack stands or on a lift and then support my tank. I've got a half a tank in here, so this will be heavier. Ideally you want to work with a empty tank, but seeing as this is an RV, there's not much way to drain it out currently, so we are going to pull it down as it is. You're going to want to disconnect all of the lines, even the filler neck, which I have to disconnect, and then you will want to start loosening the tie straps. I have pulled the hose clamps, and now I've got the tank secured, so we are going to pull all these bolts. I have a few of them as this is cross-strapped. Most vehicles won't be, but if yours is, you just have to look for those straps, and then you will just carefully take your floor jack and lower it down until it's accessible or able to be pulled out of your vehicle. So in my experience here, these are a bit longer than my impact sockets are. So I slid it on as far as I could, and then I'm pushing these together as best I can. And it's coming loose, but you just want to pull those and these at least on this vehicle, and then you should be able to pull it down and go from there. Hidden behind this plate is our last one. It's going to be right there, and then all that'll be supporting it is my jack, and we will let it down just enough so I can see what's going on, if we need to replace hoses or what's going on. We've gone ahead and pulled the straps, all 4 of them. Now we've just got those hoses to feed through, and we've got one ventilation hose to disconnect, along with, I believe it is the fuel gauge sender. After that, we can pull this out and start working on figuring out why it's not working anymore. So I'm going to be putting the tank back in. I got 3 new hoses put in there. I got them tucked up, ready to go, and we are going to start lifting this back into the vehicle and getting the straps back on, and we shall see if she starts with some new hoses. Seems that everything else is fine. Found a little bird's nest in there, and so that was cleaned out. So we shall see. So after a bunch of wrestling and everything, we've got a fuel line changed, the tank's back up there. Do make sure that you get all your sensors and everything secure before lifting it. I've got 4 straps there, and that was a little bit of fun itself, as 2 came loose on the driver's side right next to the exhaust. So this is up, ready to go. I've got new pieces cut for the lines going to the engine. All of it's cleaned out, ready to go. We'll see what happens.